welcome to Backer Pause. What is Backer Pause? Our judges watch crowdfunding videos on air. When they lose interest in a video, for any reason, they hit pause and explain what caused them to experience Backer Pause. This is a fun way to teach creators about attention spans and what works and does not work for their videos. Videos featured from projects that are being advocated for on comicbookadvocates.com with permission. Want to be judged? Have a crowdfunding campaign you want to have on the show? Well, send us an email at comicsnewswire@yahoo.com, and that's comics, C-O-M-I-X. So who wants to play? Warning and disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this live feed are those of the guests, speakers, and or hosts, and do not necessarily reflect the beliefs, official policies, ethics, or positions of the content providers, advertisers, additional hosts, and or guests, hosting sites, groups, or entities attached to this programming. Viewer discretion is advised. We got a great show for you guys. Got two amazing judges joining us. Both have campaigns. We're going to go around the room and introduce ourselves. I'll introduce myself because I've got a cool intro last. Charles, you'll go first.
Yeah, RAMMUR is my character. I'm Charles Santino. I have been involved in comics professionally for 35 years. Started with Marvel on Conan, other things for them, and done a lot of things for other publishers, including Bantam Books, Penguin, Fantagraphics, even some Filipino publishers. And now I'm here with RAMMUR #1. My publisher is Marcosia out of the UK. They're doing the digital, and they're allowing me to do a campaign for the print version of RAMMUR #1, which is on Indiegogo right now. Today, just got over 100%.
Nice.
Congratulations on that. We have the one, the only Ruben Romero.
I don't know about the one and only. If you search Ruben Romero on Facebook, it's crazy. It's like there's a lot of Ruben Romeros. But yeah, thank you. I'm Ruben Romero, creator and writer of The Illusion Witch, which is currently on Kickstarter at the moment for books 1 and 2. Self-publishing at the moment, and hoping to win your hearts and minds.
You're the only Ruben Romero that matters to me. And here's my intro video. Mr. Anderson is the unboxable advocating creator known as the indie comics devil who will tempt you with his devilish tales of fetish, monsters, and more. He is the giver of free hugs and spanks, and he is a partner in Continual Comics. Check out everything erSiN at chainlinks.site. You got to have a club, guys. You got to have your own club dedicated to you. Like, that's the status on that. And I can't wait to get back out giving spanks this weekend at Central Florida Comic Con. I'm really excited to be back on the road. I hope to run into Ruben in Tampa, maybe. Tampa Bay Comic Con.
Yeah, no, definitely. I will be there. I've got a table. I'm excited. It'll be the first time I'm around a lot of people. So fully vaccinated, but I'll be masked up. But I'm out there giving fist bumps and signing comic books.
I'll be honest, Ruben, you're going to be the only one in a mask. I've done shows already. They're not wearing masks anymore. They're just...
I get it, man. You know,
masks, because I've done shows with masks. It's horrible. Because you're like... Yeah. it's like Peanuts characters talking to each other.
Yeah, I'm weighing it. You know, I'm seeing how I feel about it, but you know, it's one of those things where it's like it's been a while since I've been around a large crowd like that. So
well,
it's
you
kind
also
of just a personal thing.
And I know
have you been on an airplane with a mask? That's fun.
Yeah. We actually I just got back from North Carolina. The plane is a pain. I don't enjoy it. Even worse is trying to keep a mask on a 2-year-old on a plane. That's great.
And I gotta say, like, true story here, Ruben's kid flew the plane. I saw pictures. She was in the cockpit. She was flying it. What's going on, Mike? How are you doing this evening? It's exciting.
What's going on, Mike?
Thank you for being here, because we want to show you Charles's thing. Charles, your thing takes me instantly back to Batman. Like, when I see
that was the idea.
Like, it takes me to Batman. I see it in the art, and it takes me back to my childhood. I really, really, really do enjoy it. We're gonna put up the graphic, I promise, as soon as I get my life together. Here we go. So now we were on last week, and Charles, you know that big disclaimer that I make everyone sign to be on this program? Well, this is why, because Charles saw us talking, and Charles said this. So I'm scrolling through Facebook last night. What do I see? A couple punks talking. No, I'm kidding. Some fellas on a stream critiquing my Indiegogo campaign and it's RAMMUR, right?
Yeah.
RAMMUR, number one. We even didn't know how to say it because we hadn't heard it yet. I liked most of what I heard, but I had to chime in the comments when someone complained that they understood the premise and liked the art, but what exactly is the story? The pulse-pounding video teases, but doesn't elaborate. Okay, so here's the synopsis. So we're going to do something cool now. We're going to use my announcer voice, and we're going to play the video at the same time, and we're going to see how it would look together.
Are you going to time it? Because the video is 1 minute and 18 seconds, so you got to time that.
I can land it, man. I'm good. I'm good at what I do, man. I'll make it happen. So I got 1 minute 18 seconds. I got a paragraph. I'll get it done, man. I've done this before. This ain't my first time.
Well, hold on a second. Let's count the words. There's 61 words, 118. Well, so it's 61 plus about 80 seconds. So you got to do about a word and a half a second.
I'm good.
Okay.
Let's do it. Challenge accepted. I want to make sure our volume's good. We're going to turn it all the way back to the beginning here, to the first seconds. Here we go. We're going to add it to the stream. Oh. All right, here we go. A museum heist gone wrong. 2 thieves dead. RAMMUR's fusion gear damaged. The target of the break-in, a banned object, art, destroyed. But that's just the beginning of RAMMUR's problems, because one of his colleagues is a police informant. Can RAMMUR figure out who's tipping off the cops before he finds himself in the Global Freedom Authority labor camp? Sounds cool, right? Back it now on Indiegogo. Might have been a little too fast.
That's okay. We got the music.
Yep, we'll turn up the music now. Now we can do the cool thing. Now, the art in this is fantastic. That was one thing that blew us away when we watched this last week. Honestly, Charles, great job. Talk to us about the art.
Yeah, Paulo Perez is in Brazil, and when it came time to look for an artist for RAMMUR, I Googled animated art style, and his website came up. I reached out to him. He was available, could work on my budget, and he just started drawing the third lead story for RAMMUR number 3. So he's in it for the long haul, so am I. He does the pencils, the inks, and the color.
Wow.
So how did it sound with the voiceover? Have we convinced you the voiceover might be the way to go in the future?
No, I don't think so.
Damn it. I have failed. That's it. We're canceling Backer Plus. We're all showing up. But no, the art in it definitely takes me back to the childhood. What did you think, Ruben?
No, I love it. I'm on board. I'm gonna go. I don't do a lot of Indiegogo, but you're gonna make me go over there and put my information in now. So, yeah, no, it looks great. It does take me back to that Batman animated series kind of art style. Saturday morning cartoons. I'm an '80s baby. Grew up in the '90s, so I had a healthy dose of that. And this takes me all the way back to that. And I'm a sucker for high stories and mysteries and things like that. So. Looks like a lot of fun. I'm with it. Even if the video has, again, I struggle with videos too. Like, I'm sure you're gonna play mine, and I'm gonna cringe throughout the whole thing, just because, again, like I go with the talking, right, and then I show you a little bit of the book, but I just think it's tough. I think sometimes, like, what people want to see is the art. They want to see the book itself, and Charles, you do a good job. That we might have to talk off camera. That motion graphic video was
the video
excellent.
The video was done by Marco Perugini. He's
Okay.
He's an Italian artist. He has done some work for RAMMUR number 1. He did the backup story, which is 6 pages, And then there's a second feature called Tops Tales of the Police State, and he did a story for that backup feature. And he actually reached out to me and was interested in working for me, and I liked his stuff. It fit right in with what I was doing. And somehow we got to talking and found out he could do a video. So
Nice.
I gave him all of the artwork and the script, and he put this together. So yeah, reach out to me, and I can put you in touch with him, and you give him the art, and the music I bought from one of these services where you can buy out of copyright music or royalty free music. Not a huge heavy metal fan, but this seemed to work.
Right. No, it did. It did. Everything worked. Everything worked. And you know, Rob, your voiceover was okay. It was okay.
I'll take okay, man. Let me tell you. And you know what? Me and him have this thing of superpower, both irresistible to women. So, I mean, I understand this guy right away. Like,
well, his two interests are money and women. And if there is a simpler character out there in terms of motivation, I'd like to know who it is. I think even the Punisher is more complicated than that.
the only person that comes to mind is Coyote. That is it. And all he wants to do is get the bird. And I've seen the one episode where he caught the bird and he lets him go.
That's right.
And
I'm sure Rammer doesn't do either of those things when it comes to money and women. So
I see Rammer not letting anyone go. As a matter of fact, he takes a girl hostage if you were watching. I was like, ooh, this is getting interesting. But definitely a great book. You sent me a preview at one point, and I told you I really dug it. I liked the things I'd seen. I saw like a very early version of it, and I told you it was good. I liked I love the Batman animated series. I actually have the animated Batmobile. I'm waiting for for those who don't know, HBO Max has announced that we're getting a new season, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
these are all self-contained stories as well. The first issue has a 24-page story, a 6-page story, a 4-page story, a 2-page story. They're all completely self-contained with a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Okay.
I look forward.
So you're building out the universe in terms of out from this character. I'm thinking. So everything ties all the way back in.
Yeah. Well, the second feature, Tops Tales of the Police State. These are funky little depressing vignettes that take place in his universe.
Okay.
Kind of everyday life in this world. Kind of the alternative comics that Fantagraphics fans would like. So if you feel guilty about enjoying a straight heist story, you can flip to the back of the book and get depressed by Tops.
I've been waiting all day to hear that. I've been waiting all day. We are going to move on to the Illusion Witch, which I think we'll just play the video because now I'm all curious because Ruben was nervous about the video. I want to see what Charles does. I've already critiqued the video, and I'm not going to say anything, so I don't want to sway it in any way, but I just want to say really quickly to everyone out there that we have a message for everyone watching before we watch this, and this one's for Ruben.
Comics are awesome.
I knew that give him a smile. All right, so here we go. This is the big. Where is your video?
Oh man, you lost it. Oh.
Yeah, I'm looking and I'm like, why? Here he is. Okay, I just didn't scroll far enough up. Here we go. This is it, and we're going to be able to be seen because your aspect ratio was off, if I remember. So for part of it, you'll be seeing our reactions of horror. I mean, you'll be seeing our reactions. Here we go.
What's up, everybody? My name is Ruben Romero, creator and writer of The Illusion Witch. And I'm just here to thank you for stopping by and checking out the campaign. There's a lot of things that I could go into detail about the books, but I think the campaign speaks for itself. So please do me a favor, scroll down, check out the small preview of issue 1. I also have a YouTube review of issue 1. Of course, this is for books 1 and 2. So this is a great place where if you missed the first Kickstarter, you can jump on and get both issues, as well as some great rewards, hoodies, t-shirts, custom made wooden coasters, some great art done by Alex Monick, and some great variant covers created by a slew of very talented artists. All of the information is down below. Again, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just really want to say thank you, and please come on, join me in this adventure, and let's get this thing funded. Take it easy, guys.
All right, Charles, what'd you think?
I love the art. I love the sincerity of the opening pitch. Very straightforward. Nice camera. You got a nice camera there, and nice crystal clear sound as well. The thing that strikes me most about the art is that it has a really nice open feel to it. It's simple, but it's not too simple. It's not cluttered, but it does have detail. And I just like the airy, open feel of it. Too many comics are so cluttered you can't tell what you're looking at. And you get a sense of what's going on by just looking at it. And yeah, I like the coloring as well.
Yeah, I thought, dude, the passion that comes out right away. The one place where you sort of lose the passion is when you start talking about the merch stuff. I would almost have had that merch stuff broken up in the back of the video, because you go from that really passionate thing and then you go into salesman mode, and you could tell you weren't very comfortable making that quick transition, and no one is. It's hard. You're talking about your passion, and then you're like, yeah, I have all these things I want to sell you, and it's a different mindset. You almost have to take a breath between it. When I do tables, that's what I'll do. I'll take a literal breath, and I'll see. I was like, do you have any questions? And that gives me a second to breathe. And if they don't, I go into the salesman. And if they do, I don't have to do it right away. The one thing I hated was that zoom in thing, and that's just a me thing. And that's the ADHD in my head. It just drives me crazy seeing those zoom. I still have not watched Doctor Strange because of the camera angles. So that's it.
How about Gravity?
I sat through it in pieces. Literally had to watch it in pieces. That's what I'll do with Doctor Strange. But I haven't been able to get it on a recorded, like on a DVR. And Disney Channel, the one thing I don't like about the Disney app is it's hard to fast forward on there. They do not have the best fast forward ever. It has to be on like Netflix. Netflix is easy. You can go in chapters almost with Netflix. But yeah, I dug it, dude. I thought it was great. The art is fantastic, man. You really nailed it. I want to make sure that we get people to know what's going on with it. So this is an ongoing series, obviously. Is this a story arc? Is this a limited series? Talk to us about a little bit.
You know, it's so first and foremost, my art team. You know, I've just been really lucky and blessed. Andrea Erico, who does the pencils and the inks, is out of Italy, and PH is out of Brazil. And then I've got into you know, I've been able to work with a few other artists like JC Fabal, who did the throne print there, the throne cover that you see there, where you see Adia sitting on that dragon throne. And I've got a neon pen cover that's highlighting Kelvin, that he, you know, he did the pencils, inks, and colors all himself. And last but not least, I've got my little funny kind of Sunday funny cartoons kind of style from Dave Lentz, who also does the lettering on the book. and Kit Wallace did the colors on that one. And yeah, man, I've just been fortunate and lucky to find really passionate and talented people to come along and, you know, add to this and bring to life this book. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a limited series. As a writer, I've got it out in my head in 6 issues. Sometimes I feel like it could benefit by being 8 issues. So, but I'll know exactly where I'm at right around issue 4 when I get there, exactly how I'm going to be feeling. So anywhere between 6 to 8 issues.
Who designed the logo? I really like the logo.
Oh man, the logo, yeah, that cannot be overstated enough. That is my boy Kieran. He's Kieran Jack. He's out of Australia. He also does a few. He's an indie creator himself. He has a book called Purgatory, The Talking Bread. He just did a very successful Kickstarter for one called The Apparition, which is a very like pulpy, almost a Phantom jab type of deal, you know. But yeah, he also does logo masthead work. So if you need his information, I'll be more than happy to put you guys in touch as well.
And who did the lettering?
Dave Lentz. He did Midnight Highway. He's done War Crimes. I mean, if I could sit here and look up his credits, the dude he's just a wealth of knowledge. I tell him and PH the same thing all the time. It's like, no matter where I go, no matter how successful I get, God willing, I will always use you guys if the publisher lets me. You know, as long as if I'm being hired, I will always put your name in the hat because I just think they do such beautiful work.
Now, I'm going to say something that's going to sound silly, but it's not. If you look at a lot of independent comics, the lettering looks professional. Now, you say, well, wait a minute. You know, I hired somebody. They say they're a letterer, but if you look at so many independent comics, sometimes everything about it is great. The story, the art, the penciling, the inking, the coloring, everything. And then the lettering, it just falls down. And your lettering looks spot on, absolutely professional. I'm a real bugaboo about lettering, and it just bothers the hell out of me when I look at just absolutely fantastic art with terrible lettering slapped on top of it.
It makes or breaks the book, in my opinion. I think at the end of the day, you know, you could have weird, funky art. Like I'm reading a book called The Department of Truth. It's got some, I wish I could remember the artist's name, but it's got some crazy art in it. And, you know, normally I don't read those kind of books, but, you know, in this case, I fall in love with it. And the lettering is so good because there's so much going on in the page, but you can follow the story through and through, no problem, because of the lettering. So it's a testament to just all around professional work. And I'll tell Dave you said so, because he's going to appreciate it, and I appreciate it, because I'm a bugaboo too about it.
I just like the word bugaboo. I'm going to try to use it this entire weekend. I'm going to go around and go, bugaboo. I don't even know how to use it right. I'm just going to be like, are you a bugaboo? All right, guys, we do have to get on with the rest of the show, which means you guys get to be judges. You won't be on screen most of the time. Just raise your hand when you have any reason to be back or pause. But before we get into that, just a few quick things. First off, everyone watching today can get themselves a free download of Comic Book School's Creator Connections Panel 1. It's a free PDF, 144 pages, made at the height of 2020, and you know how difficult that would have been. So definitely download that. We have some more news coming to you throughout the show. But for now, we're going to move on, and we're going to get to our good friend who's getting off Kickstarter today. If you see it and you like it, go back it. I don't care if you leave the show and come back. This is literally going off the platform tonight, June 9th. You see there, 11:59. So time is running out. So remember, gentlemen, raise your hand if you have any reason to pause. Rob's a friend. I personally think this video is awesome, and I think Ruben's going to really admire. And I think you will too, Charles, if you haven't seen it already.
I have. This looks very familiar to me.
Yeah. This is an awesome guy, and I can't wait to advocate for him right now. So here we go. This is Nightwolf 1 through 5.
Do you love stories about anti-heroes and supernatural beings like werewolves, vampires, demons, witches, zombies, and more? Then Nightwolf is the comic book series for you. Nightwolf's unique take on theology and mythology encompasses elements of horror, magic, fantasy in a modern setting. Hi, I'm Robert A. Malteri, the creator and writer of Nightwolf, as well as the founder of Lone Wolf Comics. It's been my dream since I was a kid struggling with attention deficit disorder and dyslexia to be a comic book creator because comics have helped me learn to overcome my disability. Born into an outcast breed of werewolves known as the Monokai, 18-year-old Rodney Marcelli is reluctantly thrown into an ancient war between good and evil. With the help of Snowpaw, the pure-blood Monokai, Rod must learn to master his newly found lycanthropy and mysterious kinetic energy power that only he possesses. Rod must fight the Dark Covenant in order to avenge his friends and family and to save the girl he loves from the master vampire Lord Malice. Rodney Marcelli is Nightwolf. In April of 2016, I launched a failed Kickstarter campaign for Nightwolf issues 1 through 3. I played the game on hard, setting a $20,000
Charles, are you
goal.
trying to pause?
However, I did manage to raise over
You're on mute.
$5,000. The
That's why I
Kickstarter
asked.
is an all-or-nothing platform. I didn't let that failed launch stop me, so I decided to raise the money on my own by doing freelance web design jobs to pay the artists. After self-publishing Nightwolf issues 1 and 2, I came back to Kickstarter in October 2019. Since then, I've had 3 successfully overfunded campaigns for Nightwolf issues 3 and 4 and the Volume 1 trade paperback that collects all 4 issues. That's all thanks to my amazing backers that I refer to as my Wolf Pack. Currently, I have written 12 issues of Nightwolf, and I have published the first 4 issues in print and digital formats. Now, I stand ready to publish issue 5, which is 100% complete and is ready to send off to the printers. That's why I've come back to pay for the printing and the rewards that you will receive for backing this project. I'd like to personally thank you in advance for backing this project and joining Wolfpack. I'm extremely grateful for where I am now as a self-publisher and continuing to serialize Nightwolf for you to enjoy. There is no risk in backing this project since the first 4 issues are published and already printed, and issue 5 is print ready. Again, thank you for taking this creative journey with me. I appreciate it so much. So what are you waiting for? Join the Wolfpack today.
All right, you both made it through, so talk to me about it. What do you guys think?
No reason to pause. I mean, Rob is a great guy, number one, first and foremost. The fact that he shares his failures along with his successes, I think is a huge plus. A lot of us indie guys, we kind of shy away from talking about our pitfalls just because, we don't want to glamorize that whole process. But the truth of the matter is that we all go through it, and Rob's a success story. I personally love Nightwolf. He's, and like I said, I can't say enough good things about him. He's definitely a lot more poised than I am on camera. That's for sure.
Yeah, he feels comfortable on there. What did you think about it, Charles?
I like Ruben's book better. And I liked his video better. This is very slick and professional. My only problem with it is I'm just not big on werewolves. So it's not the presentation, it's not the execution, it's more the subject matter for me. It just doesn't grab me because going all the way back to Werewolf by Night at Marvel and other werewolf stuff, just not my thing.
And that's important, and we've talked about this on the show. Sometimes if it's not your thing, it's just not your thing. But for those who do like werewolves, and I'm not talking about the ones that were with the sparkly vampires, but real old school violent werewolves, this is the book for you, and it goes off tonight at midnight. So make sure you back it now, or you can just hang out for the next one because I know him. Rob's always creating. There'll be another book soon, but back him now and show him the support. Remember, just get a PDF now, dip your foot in or your toe in, and then see if you like it. We're going to be moving on. Our next one up today is from our friend Laurent, and this is Sacrifice. He was actually on our show last week, so you probably saw this, Charles, when you were checking us out, maybe. I don't know if you got to see his video, but he was the one critiquing your video, so now it's time for the revenge. So here we go. Remember, raise your hand, and we'll pull us out. But until then, on with the video. And Rob, respect, man. The dyslexia thing, that's so hard to overcome. And every time I hear that story, it's heartbreaking to me. That not heartbreaking, heart inspiring. You know what I mean. You all know what I mean. All right, so here's Sacrifice.
Hello, my name is Laurent. I'm excited to be on Kickstarter for the first time, showing off my original comic, Sacrifice. Set in the modern age, Sacrifice follows a man named Damien Blackwell. When he was an infant, the satanic cult performed a ritual to tie his soul to Lucifer. Their goal was to sacrifice him and summon Lucifer, which would bring about an age of demons. As you saw in the intro, this ritual was interrupted by angels, but not before the soul bonding could be completed. Now, whenever Damien dies, Lucifer will be summoned, and the world as we know it will come to an end. The actual story of Sacrifice takes place 24 years after this ritual, and the common man has no idea that angels and demons are living among him. During this time frame, the demons and other dark forces have been working towards killing Damien. The angels, on the other hand, have been watching over Damien from a distance, but their primary goal has been finding a weapon strong enough to kill Lucifer. This leaves Damien in the middle, who, at this point in the story, is a 24-year-old man and is awakened to unbelievable amounts of demonic power. What type of person does he grow to become? I won't spoil that for you, but I can promise you it's not what you'd expect. This 32-page first issue will be the first in an action-packed series featuring plenty of horror, comedy, fantasy, and pop culture elements. If you like stories like Shaun of the Dead, Army of Darkness, or Ghostbusters, which are filled with various types of demons, monsters, ghosts, and horrific creatures, but still have plenty of room for comedy in between, then you'll love Sacrifice. If Sacrifice sounds like something that would be interesting to you, I ask that you share with the people around you who think who might also be interested. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope I have your support.
All right, gentlemen, what'd you guys think?
Oh, that looks very cool. He did a great job explaining it and showing it, and when he talked about the different themes and the different moods, he showed he showed the humor, the horror. That giant spider looked really cool, if that's what it was. I like, most of all, I like the fact that we're going to get to look at a lot of really weird stuff. And that looked very cool to me.
Ruben?
Yeah, same. I mean, again, I'm as you can see from my video, I kind of shy away from telling you what the story's about because I feel like the Kickstarter itself, when you're reading it, there's a lot of good stuff there. But yeah, I mean, other than that, that's not a critique. That's more of like my personal thing. But he does a good job at explaining things. He doesn't get lost in his own story. Some people, the most important thing is what is it? And if you can't get what is it off in 30 seconds, then you're probably not going to land them. And he does that pretty well. The art looks fun. Like Charles said, I'm a big fan of just like weird looking creatures and weird monsters. So it has that kind of feel, that almost Johnny, Hellblazer type of situation, but different, with a little spin on the whole bringing, the Antichrist to Earth and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I'll definitely be looking out for it. Is it out already?
Still on Kickstarter. But
Kickstarter.
Probably will have this up in Tampa. I believe he's aiming to do Tampa now, so we're pretty excited about that. And there's our boy Mike giving us the link.
There we go.
Awesome, always giving us the link. So we appreciate you. Remember, you can get any one of these links by simply going to backerpaws.com. And it's all listed there right now, waiting for you. So take the time to look it out and see what's going on. We're going to take a quick moment to acknowledge a good printer. People ask me all the time, what printers do I use? This is the printer that I personally use. Here we go. This is Comics Impressions here in Cape Coral, Florida. They do an amazing job. Anyone who's gotten one of my books has seen what they can do. So make sure that if you're looking for a printer and you want one that's reasonable and gets the work done right, Comics Impressions here in Florida is the way to go. And make sure to hit that subscribe button on the Comic Book Advocates YouTube channel so you can see not only panels, but shows like this, including our new series where we actually interview creators 15 minutes at a time. Because we know life is busy once again as we head back out into the world. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. All right, guys, we're going to move on to our next campaign.
I have a question.
Go.
Can your printer do newsprint?
No. I've been, that's a hard one in America. That right now because it's two things. It's either going to be massively expensive Or there's one printer that I know that'll do it, but you have to go through, I think Antarctic Press is the one who works with them. You might want to reach out to Antarctic. I believe it's Alterna. Yeah. Reach out to Alterna. They're the only ones I know who are doing it at a reasonable price right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic that it's so expensive.
Yeah, it's not lost on me. It's just no one's set up for it anymore.
Yeah.
And I've even reached out to USA Today, the people who print it locally, the newspaper, and they just don't know how to answer me. Like they literally were like, we could try to do it, but they're not set up for like the colors that he thought. And I was like, but don't you do a color version of USA Today? And he's like, yeah, I guess so. Like they just don't fundamentally understand how to do it. I think the problem is someone will come and monetize it and we'll get newspaper print back, but no one's gotten there yet. And the Alterna thing wasn't a giant success because 2020 happened and kind of slowed that down. So I think we'll see it. I just think that we have to be patient and it'll come back around. You know, most things do when you give it enough time. So next on our show for this evening is going to be, well, it would have been you, Ruben, but you're obviously, we already actually talked about your book. So we're going to move on to, one of the cool looking ones. So check this out. Here we go, the overlay for this one. This has got, oh man, I don't think he has a video for some reason. Let me see. Does this one have a video? I think this one might be the one where we don't have a video, which kind of stinks. Oh no, we do. This one actually does. So check this out. Now, before we go in that, anyone in the room a MTV fan from Liquid Television?
Yeah, like Eon Flux and things like that.
Yeah.
Every time I see that, man, it takes me back to being a punk kid in the 90s. I love it. I love comics that can take you back. Like you're talking about newspaper print. The smell of newspaper print takes me back to my childhood reading comics. Oh, I would love to get one of my books in newspaper print. But for now, let's check out Max. What'd you guys think?
Well, I like what I saw, but I will say I liked what little I saw. I would definitely want to see more art.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say so too. I would say so too. It was limited in what we saw. The colors didn't pop for me, you know, especially for a story like this. You know, in this kind of genre, I felt like the colors could be a little bit like the way they are, like the way they look on the cover. Just pops a little bit more than it does inside the book. But yeah, other than that, I'd like to see more of it for sure.
Ask and ye shall receive. Let's take a quick look at it on Indiegogo. Check out this art. Okay, sell my information. But look at this art. I think it's... No. You got some cool merch down here. I like the covers. The covers look so cool.
Yeah, the covers are sharp. I like the covers.
And they're using Gemini mailers. That's such a... I mean, how big is that for you guys as backers and as creators? Do you guys use Gemini mailers? Do you
I will be. I think it's the only way to go.
Yeah. Honestly speaking, I mean, I was using I was using like these kind of like stiff mailers, and they work well, but I think I go through indie what is it? God, now I can't remember. Oh, Comics Wellspring. I go through Comics Wellspring for all my printing, and they just introduced like their own version of Gemini mailers, and they look like great stuff, and you get a discount if you slap their logo on it. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, from here on out, that's the way I'll go. But the stiff mailers were working. I mean, I shipped stuff to England and to Australia this past Kickstarter for Illusion Witch Book 1, and they made it, perfectly in great condition. And then I had a couple that I had to resend because they got, bent in the corners. But that's the risk you run with those stiff mailers. They're just not great. But overall, nobody's really complained. But I am going to step up to the Gemini mailer boxes because I just feel like it's better presentation.
What did it cost to ship to Australia?
Oh, I know that. It's not great.
It was like almost 20. It was like almost like $25 or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it was. I always do what I do is I'll do my shipping in waves. So I'll do all of my in-state shipping first, and then I'll go and I'll do all the overseas stuff just so that I can track it. So that way I can, when I go back to Kickstarter, I can charge it what it costs, because at the end of the day, it's like, I know for the agency Kickstarter, the overseas ones, I ate that shipping because I wasn't charging the right amount, so, but it is what it is. You live and you learn.
I'm muted. England's become problematic because of that Brexit thing. And I was talking to the post office and I'm like, well, they didn't technically buy anything from me. It's a reward. So how does that work with Brexit? And they were like, I don't know. The post office is like, so they didn't buy it. I'm like, no, even Kickstarter says they're not a store. This is a reward for backing it. It's like when you pledge to PBS, and they were like, well, I guess then you wouldn't have to worry about it. So it's weird. Be careful, creators, and check that postage, guys. It keeps going up randomly. 2020 has affected everything in a very unique and bad way for the consumer. So once you're shipping, you become a consumer. It might be time to use something like stamps.com to try to help you mitigate the cost, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of shipping this year. So that's my suggestion. Take it as you will. This is Mighty Might issue number 1. We don't have an actual video for it. This is doing fantastic. Honestly, it doesn't even need to be on the show. I'm just CB is a fan. I've worked with him. Beautiful art that he does. This is fully funded in like an hour. He's doing fantastic. Wow. Check it out. This is the world's littlest wonder of the world, and she's the pink powerhouse. So we're gonna move on to our next campaign with a video, which actually would have been. Actually, I think we've ran to the end. We had a lot of them end. Let me just make sure that we got everyone out of the way. Yeah, we had a lot end this week. That's why we didn't have a lot fill in. There are a couple people I think that we're waiting for permissions on. They didn't get it into us in time because everyone who's on this show has to give us permission because obviously we're going to be saying something. So with that, I'm going to give the guys some time to talk about their projects again because we have a few minutes to kill. Before that, I do want to make a big announcement. On Kickstarter, June 28th, not 2020, that's a typo. Heaven forbid it be 2020. I have to fix that typo. But it'll be June 28th this year on Kickstarter. Heroics takes over. It's the Continuum Presents Heroics. We're going to have big stuff, including Atreyu, the creator of Gothic Blue, A Blue Christmas. I had the opportunity to write this. It's like Charles Dickens meets a superhero, meets It's a Wonderful Life. All together, all at the same time, in 6 pages. And it's going to be taught in a very unique fashion because I'm going to tell it like a classic 90s video game. What do I mean by that? You guys are going to have to subscribe at heroicscomics.com to see what happens when we launch our Kickstarter on the 28th. All right, so, Charles, you're up again. Talk to us about RAMMUR again. Tell us the elevator pitch. Someone comes up to your table. What do you tell them?
Yeah, 7 words right on the cover. Shortest elevator pitch in entertainment. He's a master thief in a future police state.
There you go.
And that sets him aside from everything else, and that's an advantage, but it's also a disadvantage because you can't say, well, it's like this and that. It's like combines this and that. No, it's kind of out there all by itself. So that's nice, but you can't really say if you like whatever, you'll like this. I guess if you like crime stories, if you like heist stories, and you want to see it mixed with a little bit of science fiction. The reason I mentioned newsprint is because RAMMUR #1 is going to be newsprint.
That's awesome.
And it's available right now digitally on Comixology through Marcosia, my publisher, for $2.99. You get the whole 48 pages plus covers. So hopefully people will do that, and then they'll see why they need the print. And eventually Marcosia will collect the first 3 issues, except I'm going to make sure that there's a piece of each of the first 3 issues that's not in the collection, so that you need the 3 issues. And I'll also make sure that there's something in the graphic novel that's not in any of those issues. So you have to have everything.
I think you're muted, Rob.
Thank you. Jax is in the room. We just got permission. I forgot. I was looking for another one. I couldn't remember what it was. That's why I was stalling. I was looking at my background. Thank you. I want to get it right, Thomas, for reminding me, because I knew there was one we were missing. But in the meantime, while I'm doing that, elevator pitch us, Ruben.
Yeah, so The Illusion Witch is kind of like Lord of the Rings meets Life of Pi. It deals with some real human, real world issues, like, you know, dealing with the loss of loved ones and mourning and how you react to that trauma. But then it also takes you on a hero's journey where Adia is not the greatest person when we first meet her. And she's got to kind of earn this power to protect this world that she's never even been in. So it's got a little bit of everything.
And I know that this is your second book. What was the feedback? Because I saw some of people talking about it. What's the feedback been like for this project?
It's been overwhelmingly positive. It's so weird to me because, as you know, I've been in indie comics since 2014. You were one of the first people to ever come up to a table of mine at a con. We've known each other since then. So you know how hard, you know, how long I've been in this, technically long, and working at this. And I've never really, even with the agency, 6 issues in, I still don't get the response that I got that I've been getting with The Illusion Witch. People just applauding the writing, the story, the characters, the world. It's kind of overwhelming, really, because when I sat down and to write it, it was mainly for therapy. It was kind of just to get out some of the stuff that I was dealing with internally, and I guess it just translated, and a lot of people can connect. And like I said, I'm lucky that I've got a great team that's passionate, just as passionate as I am about the book. So the book looks great, and I think, you know, in all reality, it's just a great package altogether. And people have been responding that way. Just a lot of positive messages. People want to know more. They talk about Adia like, you know, like if they're 100% in, and, you know, maybe they, you know, I guess they are, you know, so to an extent. So it makes me excited to see where this book can go and where this series can go. And it's exciting for me for the future, because it's not, you know, not something I can talk about right now, but there are plans for The Illusion Witch and the series that are much larger than just Kickstarter and myself. So hopefully in the next few months, I'll be able to talk about that.
Let me ask you guys really quickly before we play this next video. Does feedback change you? Like, you guys are, I know, Charles, you said you're an ongoing series. How much of that feedback would you say will change the trajectory? Would you, like, if one character's more popular than that, or if a character's not landing, like, let's say Jar Jar Binks. If you have a Jar Jar Binks, would you remove it, or would you just stubbornly keep going and tell the story you intended to tell?
Well, that's a really excellent question, and I'm trying to think of an example where I've actually listened to somebody's advice. I'm not sure. Well, the only thing that comes to mind is when I was developing the character before I found Paulo, and I was still developing the look of the character. I reached out to an artist who seemed interested, but then kind of just said, "No, I don't like it. I don't like this, and I don't like that." And it made me rethink the character a little bit. And part of the reason he looks the way he does, and some of the details of his look and his gear, is a result of the being rejected by that artist. But since then, there's really nothing that anybody has said that's landed with me in terms of criticism. Somebody just reviewed it on their video channel, and didn't really give it that great a review. And the reviewers, commentators, sort of slammed it a bit, and I didn't really agree with anything I heard. My attitude was, well, okay, well, it's not for you. That's okay. It's not going to be for everybody. But I guess that the short answer is, other than that artist that kind of made me think about things before RAMMUR was set in stone, that's the only example of me really listening to criticism and moving in a different direction.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Charles. Like, I don't, I listen to professional criticisms, right? So if my artist is coming back and saying, hey, this panel would look better this way, or I can translate this motion better this way, or for Dave, for instance, is my sounding board for all things, when it comes to the book. If he says that the colors are off, the colors are off, and he explains to me why, and he makes his argument. But in the end, I'll make my final decision. When it comes to story, as collaborative as I am, because I do love writing because of its collaborative, capabilities. When it comes to like my ongoing series, things that I'm writing on my own, I will listen to what people have to say. But if it doesn't, like Charles, like if it doesn't make a gear move in my mind and make me feel like, oh, I didn't see it that way, it makes me overall like want to change the story the way I see it, or a specific character, I'm gonna go ahead and keep writing the way I'm doing it, because it's basically the way I've laid it out in my mind, and that's kind of how I see the world and the story that I'm trying to tell.
Well, when I give Paulo the script, it's a full script, not the so-called Marvel method where it's a plot.
Right.
So he's getting a full script, and a lot of times what I get back is a little bit different than what was in the script, and it's always better. So I guess that's accepting somebody's professional judgment. I mean, he's the artist. He has to draw it, and
right.
every once in a while, I can't describe something, so I give him photo reference, or sometimes I'll do my own little sketch. And but generally, if he makes a change, it's not a radical change. It's a minor change, but it's always for the better.
They're the artist. That's why I always say to them, I'm like, yeah, I also do a full script. I don't do the Marvel method. Not that there's anything against it. I do think for speed purposes, and allowing the artist to breathe, that's definitely a good way to do it. But in the indie case, I think the full script works. And the same for me. Like sometimes I'll give something to Andrea, and he'll, like just the other day with page 1 of book 2, he was like, I added this panel. And he did the same thing in book 1 with the villain reveal. He was like, I did it off to the side this way, and it just all works. So to me, as long as it's professional and it's coming from that kind of level, then I understand it. If it's a fan or a friend reading my book and saying, man, you know what, I think Baru would be funnier if he did this, I don't know, because that character's already in my head, and I'm already inside that character's head as well. So if you try to kind of veer that off, I don't know if I can accept that.
I'll give you another perfect example. Marco Perugini, who did the video, He's drawing a backup story. He just finished it for the second issue. It's a 4-page RAMMUR story. And I gave him the script, and I got the art back, the layouts, and it was absolutely beautiful. I'm looking at it, and I'm going, okay, what he did is perfect. It tells the story perfectly, but I've only got a room for about half of the words in the script, in terms of dialogue and captions. So I looked at it, and I thought, should I ask him to change things? Should I ask him to make the pictures smaller so I can get all my great words in there? And I thought, no, the pictures are perfect. I'm going to go back and I'm going to see if I can eliminate literally half of the captions and dialogue to fit what he gave me. And I was able to do it. So it just goes to show you that visual is what counts. And I wasn't going to force, my script on him. He drew it based on my script, but then I had to adapt it. And I just before we went on tonight, I just finished hacking away at that script and getting rid of half of the words. And I just sent it to the letterer, and I'm sure it's going to be fine. But again, it's another example of letting the artist do their job. And right. Nobody who reads that story, except for the people that read my fan newsletter, because I'm telling them how this happened, nobody's going to say, where are the rest of the words?
Right.
But that wasn't a fan, that was a pro.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, guys, we're going to play the video, and you guys can tell us, and this will be the last video of the night. So here we go.
Because Technium is essentially about humanity. It just kind of follows a group of people who gave up like the most human parts of themselves to protect the same humanity that they love.
We found our calling over 100 years ago. We found our worlds enthralled in the midst of a great war. Since the war's end, we've known nothing but productivity, peace, and plentifulness. But even in the midst of these great times, I know that one thing stands true, something that has always stood true. That all things come to an end.
Charles, were you trying to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. It's so hard to see it, the small little thing. So what did you guys think?
No, I wasn't trying to say something for a change. I'll go first. I love the lead-in, and then when he stopped talking, he showed us a lot of things, but I didn't know what any of it meant. And I wanted to know what was happening. Obviously, bad things were happening. Well, what were they? What exactly what was going on? I love this Pez dispenser character, and I love wacky design, and it doesn't get much wackier than that. That's incredible, and that character should be on the cover, and should be on every page. I don't know what that is. I don't know who it is. I don't know what it does, but it's just that's whacked.
Yeah, I agree. He started off real deep, you know, like what he was talking about humanity and these characters and what they gave up to protect humanity. And then it kind of goes into just a lot of pages of a lot of action. It looks good, you know. The story, the premise is what got me overall. The premise of people giving up a certain piece of themselves to protect for the greater good. And what comes after that, and what kind of, you know, villain or evil entity steps up, you know, after this 100-year piece, then okay, cool. I'm all in for that.
Yeah, I agree. I just needed a little bit more, not much. Just throw me a bone as to who the bad guys are and exactly what they're doing.
Would it be enough to get you to look more into the campaign? That's always what I ask.
Absolutely, no question about that.
Oh yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's time to say goodnight. We're gonna go around the room, say our goodbyes. We'll start with Ruben.
All right, guys. I'm Ruben Romero. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Instagram at Ruben the Writer. On Facebook, Ruben Romero or Ruben the Writer. And go back to The Illusion Witch book 1 and 2. We're almost at 80%.
Okay, Charles Santino. RAMMUR is spelled RAMMUR. You can find me on Facebook as Charles Santino, and also there is a RAMMUR and Topps Tales of the Police State page. I'm on Twitter every once in a while, on Instagram every once in a while. And RAMMUR #1, Indiegogo right now, just reached 100%. We got a couple more weeks, so go there and take a look at the video, and the video should sell it for you.
All right, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, making this an awesome show. Thank you so much. Remember, Central Florida Comic Con in Lakeland is this weekend. Come check me out. Ruben said tonight he'll be in Tampa, so that's exciting. And maybe I'll get him to do some panels with me. I've got like 4 of them scheduled, so I'll try to get him to be on my panels. There was literally a time when I would be going to attend his panels, and now I get to hopefully have him on my panels. Fingers crossed. We can make that happen. And we're going to talk about, on our way out, the importance of $1. What do I mean?
Yeah, Ruben, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Charles.
This is what I mean about the importance of $1. The power of a single dollar. One single dollar can help make dreams come true. Every dollar is a declaration of support and belief. It helps the creators and the teams behind the book. Just $1 helps create new worlds and keeps creators creating. All right, guys. We'll see you next week, 8:30 on Wednesday.
Thanks a lot.